How we all doing this awesome evening? This is your host, Jody E, coming at you with Draven Crow, my co-host. This is Rockin' Music. We're going to be baking up a basket of biscuits, and we're going to be doing a full artistic review on one artist. I think we're both a band we both grew up with, and I don't know, let's just head it off the first time you heard Limp Bizkit, or what you remember remember when you heard Limp Bizkit for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. It take me back to the day, the first time hearing the Biscuit. Like we were just talking about. Yeah, that's got to be. I was mistaken. I thought $3 Bill came out in '98, but it came out in '97. I heard it in probably early '98, maybe spring of '98. Yeah, my buddy was busting up some Cypress Hill 4, in the basement. Maybe doing some extracurricular activities, but yeah, he also had this Limp Bizkit stuff. Well, $3 Bill puts that on. I think the first track I heard off that was I think the George Michael song, like Faith by Limp Bizkit off that album. Yeah, yeah. And then I heard Counterfeit, which was even better than Faith, because I mean, okay, that's a good cover and stuff, but Counterfeit off that album is just like, what, dude? Boom, pretty wicked. And then they followed that up real quick with Significant Other, which was I don't know, I was in grade 9 or grade 10 at the time, and that was like the biggest thing to come out. Everybody was listening to the Biscuit. Fred Durst was the man in the red hat. I mean, everybody was jamming the Biscuits. So, I mean, why not, right? Love the Biscuits.
Love the biscuits. There's a warm, fluffy biscuit. Yeah, I mean, I know it was
like a warm fluffy biscuit.
Similar intro to the band as you. I heard for the first time. It was a music video. I think I really on Much Music, and after that, I kind of like got a little interested, and that's kind of when Korn came out as well, and they released their Family Value tour video album. And I know my one buddy, he went out and bought the Family Values video, and I bought the CD. And that's where I first got introduced to Incubus as well. But yeah, Limp Bizkit on there were hard hitters, and with the Korn as well. But they definitely introduced a new metal sound alongside of with Korn, right? Started something new, something that even Red Dirt, nobody's doing this stuff. Nobody even really does anything. So what that is, except for something with that rock rap. I mean, they do it in their own style. After I had listened to the Family Values tour video, I went out and I bought $3 Bill, and that quickly became one of my go-tos for sure. And I think after that, I just bought Significant Other, and then after that, I didn't know too much of what Limp Bizkit was after that. Basically, those two albums were I'm mostly familiar about. Did you own any other albums?
Well, I owned definitely $3 Bill. I owned Significant Other, and I definitely owned the Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water. I mean, those are pretty much quintessential late '90s, early 2000s listening. I mean, you gotta have that. I mean, especially with the crowd that I was hanging out with. I mean, yeah, with Korn for sure. That was a new thing at this particular time. That sound. And Fred Durst and the Biscuits, and you got to give credit to Wes Borland. I mean, what an interesting character and a very talented guitar player as well. But to have that visual aesthetic that he had, you know, with the crazy blacked out eyes and the crazy nonsense stuff that he was doing on stage. I mean, how could you not like this stuff, right? Yeah, it sounded really good too. I mean, Significant Other, I think, was probably. $3 Bill was okay. That's a good introduction and kind of neat. I was probably listening to Pantera a little bit more at that particular time, just more of the classic metal type stuff there at that time. But when Sniffing Another came out, I mean that debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top 200, boom, right away. That thing sold 643,000 copies in its first week. I mean, it's the biggest selling. I'm sorry, not the biggest selling. Let me check my notes. I'd have to give that to the Starfish album, Chocolate Starfish. It sold 1.054 million copies in its first week, 400,000 copies on its first day. I mean, that just tells you how huge and influential Bizkit was at this particular time. I mean, you look at the Limp Bizkit videos, you got Korn doing stuff with Bizkit, you got Eminem doing stuff with Bizkit, you got basically anybody that's anybody was doing tracks with the Bizkit. I mean, they all did them with, I mean, Method Man, Redman, all this kind of crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't say nothing more about the Bizkit. I had the Bizkits. I love the Bizkits. I had a cool stereo in my truck at the time too. So I mean, you pop the Bizkit in and show up to the party with the tunes bumping. It was pretty cool, pretty fly with the Bizkits.
Yeah, you're talking about how the Westmoreland kind of has these images, and the bass player as well. Like was wearing the colored contacts, the black ones, and then the bass player, he would wear the red contacts. So it's kind of a cool. It kind of showed what a new metal band would look like because I would say like they didn't look like the traditional style of metal type band. Most rock bands and like heavier music have longer hair. They kind of created a different image for that new metal sound as well. With I think just showing that you didn't have to rip out big long solos. You know, you could hit some heavy riffs and get everybody jumping just as quick as you don't have those fiery solos, but also introducing like a DJ, their DJ Lethal, right?
DJ Lethal, bring it on! That's so cool that they introduced a DJ into the whole mix, spinning the ones and twos, just throwing some nonsense in there. Oh, total nonsense, but I mean, revolutionary, really. Yeah, you really got that one, DJ Lethal. Let's go,
And
bring it on.
I think something to respect about the band as well is you just see that currently they're still all the same members. I know Wes left for a bit and he ended up coming back, but he just did basically just about the same members the whole time. And most bands you can't say that about. Some bands you can't. But I mean, I think it shows uh, some creativity and good mindset to just like know that it works when you guys all apply it together, right? It's not about the politics and the different views in a band. It's music, right?
Yeah, totally, 100%. West did leave the band. I think he had another band, maybe two bands he was doing, and then I know he released a solo album too of just him doing some stuff on there. I haven't checked it out per se, but it is out there if anybody's interested in checking that out. But I guess what I was trying to say here is this is like it'll have to be like a part one of a part two series because we're talking about the $3 bill, we're talking about Significant Another, we're talking about the Starfish, but we're not going past that because unfortunately I didn't have all the time in the world to put together all the other stuff. But there's like four more albums past the Starfish that are also just. I just want to say we were talking on the phone the other day. I was like, I don't give two craps about nothing. I mean, Bizkit's still kicking it, man. I mean, what's that last album that they came out with? Stinky Beaver or Smelly Beaver or what is this
Something like
Beaver
that.
album? Nothing to do with beavers, but
That was an unreleased album, right? So
unreleased album. But if you check that album out, man, there's some heavy bangers on there. If they released that back in 2000, I couldn't tell the difference really is stylistically. Like they're still bringing that same flavor with the new metal sound, with the hip hop track and the whole Limp Bizkit vibe, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, we might have to do a part two where we get into the later albums and do them a little bit of justice too, because very good stuff going that way. But just to bring it up here, what's your favorite tracks off some of these albums? What's your go-tos?
Well, just before we run off there, I was just gonna say, definitely like doing that part two because give me a chance to listen to more of those newer albums, which would be great as well. But just, running off those first couple of albums there, Counterfeit's one of my favorite songs. Um, what I'm Broke, I think is that one of them at the end?
I think that
Yeah.
great track on another. Yeah, that's a good track.
I mean, Faith is their one of their, it was kind of like overplayed, right? But it is a good song, so it's a cover, right? But yeah, Counterfeit's got to be one of my favorite tracks on those albums. But I know both those albums I used to listen to all the way through. There wasn't really too many fillers. It was pretty much like consistently both running good albums, right? Or all three of them, right?
100%. Were you listening to these albums just since we were going to talk about them here? I ran through. It brought me back to like when I was like 17 again. It was great, and I thought there were some tracks back in the day where like, so. But listening to it again, like the whole album is decent. I mean, the whole thing. You can just top to bottom, bottom to top. I'm not switching any songs. I'm listening to it all. I have maybe a newfound appreciation for some of the lyrics for some of the songs that I thought were like mid before, but they're all killer for me. But I mean, Break Stuff is got to be one of my favorite. Rearranged is probably right there with Break Stuff. Rearranged is I love the way it breaks down. Hot Dog, Full Nelson, Take a Look Around, Boiler. Boiler is just another great Bizkit track. I mean, I could list the entire, probably top to bottom from Significant Other to Starfish, and I'd probably list all the tracks probably because they're all that good. I like all these albums. Yeah, Counterfeit. That it's one of their heavier songs, like probably the heaviest song that the Bizkit does in terms of just like straight up. It's like new metal. It doesn't really mess around too much with the hip hop stuff. It's just more of a metal feel, like a real boom, get you. Good drops in it, lots of good drops. The vocals are really heavy too on that one, like that.
Like I think him being able to have like flow introduced it in with like some heavy screaming here and there, and he really held up very good for taking a chance and doing something different, right? And so I'm just wondering, like, maybe out of those first three albums, did you have a favorite album, or like, and if you did, you want to rate that one album, or you want to rate the band as a whole as a whole rating? Like, what do you think about a rating?
Jeez. Yeah, that's tough. I guess if we were just looking at one album and doing it that way, that would make sense. But we got three different albums that we're talking about currently. I'm gonna give you my rating for just because I think I like this album just a little bit more than the hot dog flavored water. I'm gonna go with the Significant Other. This is gonna get a heavy 9.5, I think, for me. This is a like 20 years on, I can still put this on and listen to it top to bottom and enjoy every single track. It's aged like a fine wine. It just brings back such good memories for me. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 9.5 on the Richter scale, but I'm going to leave the other ones unrated for now. We can come back to it later, but I don't think it'd be fair to give a rating on the other two albums that we talked about because, yeah, I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I know. I both those albums I own, the $3 Bill and Significant Other, and I could definitely put any of them on and listen to the whole thing. No one skip anything. I listened to it fully through, right? And Yeah, for that, I'd probably say any album that you can play fully through's got to be at least a solid 8 or 9. So I'm gonna say it's probably a solid 9. Both of those albums for me. And I definitely the part two that we do, I want to refresh all the albums, try to get a rating as to which maybe one or two albums are best. Right? It is hard to give a rating unless you're familiar with the whole discography. So
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think in the part two we'll look at these albums just a little bit closer and come up with some final numbers and bring that to the table, bring that to the people, bring that to you. See what you got to say. But yeah, man, I love the Biscuits. Re-listening to these albums, though, I just got to say it's brought me a lot of joy the last couple of days. It was just reminiscing about being younger again and my cool truck and my Limp Bizkit CD on and just giving her, just having a good time. It was I did listen to the Biscuit quite a bit. Like going back and thinking about it, I listened to Biscuit quite a bit. I was on the CD, like on the player, on the track all the time. It was always Limp Biscuit. But you know, yeah.
I know you were talking about it just the other day, something to do with you want to tell a little bit of the background about what Wes did with some of his platinum records, or any stories or out of any of the members of the band that you know, like maybe feel free to share any of that.
Yeah. We were talking about this the other day. I was watching a YouTube video about Wes Borland, and he took his platinum records and his gold records and just sold them. Just he didn't have no use for them. Just sold them for cash. Like somebody just said, "Yeah, I'll buy them," and they give him cash for it. And he took the cash and invested it in vintage amplifiers and some interesting tech and some gear. Like that's I don't know how much money he got for his platinum and gold records, but he has quite a few of them. But yeah, he's like it doesn't really like it just blows my mind that a guy wouldn't care about having your platinum record on the wall and being like, yeah, check this out. He's like, no, screw that. I'm gonna sell it and buy some more guitar equipment. Like that's if anybody gets a chance to look at that video out there, just look up Wes Borland. You'll come across it, I'm sure. But he's a strange dude. He's a different kind of cat. But yeah, pretty neat.
But like a lot of the riffs are really good, and he writes some really good riffs. But like most people wouldn't even know that he can also like shred up some solos that he doesn't do very often in some of the tracks, right? It's not really that type of metal. The dude can probably play just about anything. The guy is one of the most talented guys in the band, I have to say, musically, and I'm sure he contributes a lot to that. But all of them are pretty good at what they do. Like the bass has really good riffs as well. The drums are very well put together, and yeah, I'd say that this is this was top when I was growing up, right? Um, just throwing that in, it definitely reminds me of cruising around back in the day and probably somebody else's car. But if I had my own car, I'd probably have one of these albums, right?
Yeah, man. Biscuit keeps going too, and like I was saying earlier, you got to check out these later albums because there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good stuff to be had there too. Like they never sold out. These guys, they never changed their style. Like you look at some of these bands that they go on and they sell out. They try and change their format to go with new times and get a new audience or new listeners or whatever. And it never seems to work out that way. But the Biscuit never did that. They just kept on ripping and putting the jams down, and I can appreciate that. And I'll definitely be investing in some of these albums here, especially that Beaver album. There's a couple tracks I listen to on there that are just rippers. I mean, bangers for sure. So
Well, I tried.
even at 40 years old, you can listen to Biscuit. It's still the same thing as it was when you were 17. It's awesome. It's like it's aged so well. It's great stuff.
Well, I tried to look up that album on like the list of albums. Music discography. It doesn't show it. It's written as unreleased tracks, so somebody leaked it before they started holding it, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of closing comments or anything. We're just looking to wrap it up. But I mean, any final thoughts you want to leave down to the biscuits or what?
Yeah, biscuits, man. This was a great episode, and I wish we had. I wish I had more stats and information to share. But in part two here, I'll get my act together and have a little more factuals to share with you, along with our banter about stuff. But along with the biscuits, I mean, we can't forget about the corns of the world, or the Rage Against the Machines, and all that kind of stuff too, which I think we're going to probably try and touch upon here in later videos. But yeah, in conclusion, love the biscuit. Put the biscuit on.
Yeah,
Gotta have it.
I think we're going to be stirring a pot of corn biscuits pretty soon. So stay tuned and for our next episode, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Peace.
Peace out.